rise before pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we now have Gretchen read off those individuals that have passed.
Jean Allen, Eileen Webb, Sue Byfield, Ed Ladd, and Ann Butler. Any others?
Anybody think anything else? Just have a moment of silence, please, in your memory. Thank you. Okay, I would now like to entertain a motion to approve the meeting agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Made by Mike Sexton, second. Ed Witherall, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Approve minutes regular town board meeting from July 12, 2021. So moved by George Smith,
I'll second.
second by Gretchen Starr. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Financial report. Checkbook balances as of June 30th, 2021, $87,413.81. That's in the general fund. Highway fund, we have a balance of $4,209.25. Youth commission, we have a balance of $10,454.15. The Hadlock Dam project, $240.09. Hadlock Park district fund, $5,883.98. Consolidated Health District, $370.48. Trust and Agency Fund, $548.33. Medical Reimbursement Fund, $4,803.41. And our saving account balances, these are all within night class. The night class general fund, $468,297.83. Night class highway fund, $837,533.97, and night class Hadlock Park District, $205,738.86, and LoSAP, we have $22,904.70. And that concludes that report. Authorizations for the payment of bills. We have a motion to authorize the payment of the bills.
I'll move that.
Moved by Gretchen Stark, we have a second.
Second.
George Smith, is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. We now move on to the public comment agenda items. Does anyone have any comment on any of the agenda items? Any public comment they want to make at this time? Going once, going twice, going three times. We will now move on to the reports from town officials and committees. Under the supervisor's report, next month, we're going to take a look at a town law we had back in 1990, which was designed for waste within the town of Fort Anne, and specifically the local town law regarding biodegradable material, better known as treated sewage. We have a couple farmers in the town that had started using the sewage, or the fertilizer as it's now called. Once it was restricted by the DEC and by the EPA both, and now it's being approved by some of the towns around us for usage within their towns. Kingsbury just recently enacted it, took it out, and so we're going to visit it. One of the issues we have was that the smell of it. It's really toxic smelling. It has to be applied appropriately and in the right manner, and continually under controlled storage, or you end up with this, it sounds like either rotten eggs or propane gas or many different things to many different people. But it's not a very pleasant smell. So we had one person under this law that we have cited as a result of that. Two other ones were told from the code enforcement officer that it was inappropriate, they got disposed of it right away. So we are just gonna bring that up and address it and take a look at it. And then if we need to change the local law, we did have to have a public hearing on that, and we certainly would discuss that. One of our farmers was putting out his field for hay. And one of the articles in EPA originally said that it shouldn't be used for anything that would be human consumption or put into something that wouldn't. So obviously, the animals would be eating the hay, producing milk, whatever the case may be, so get to our food chain. So we'll take a look at that, just because we've been asked to by one of the farmers, and there's a couple others that want to use it too. So we'll take a look and see if it makes sense to do something separate on that. We got all the paperwork and stuff that we needed to do as a town for the electrical lines and cables that are going to be buried from Quebec down to New York City, and hopefully that gets approved. That would be a good windfall for the town, about $8 million over 30 years, plus some additional benefits that would come along with that. And it'd just be a matter of them laying their cable along some land in the town of Fort Anne to go on down to the city of New York. It's not designed so that we could tap into it at all. It's just a straight feed, straight through to New York City. And outside of that, we're going to soon start taking a look at where we do stimulus dollars, the amount that we actually have in hand, and what we have coming out, and we'll put together something to take a look at that and prioritize how we want that recommended to be spent, and then it'll be up to the decision we'll do some input, we'll do a public hearing, we'll do some input on that, and then we'll move forward in whatever direction that may be. That's all I have at this point in time, and I'd like to go to town board members. Deb, what's something you want to call in?
I'm wondering what we're gonna do about the ramp on the dock at Clay Hill, on Clay Hill. The ramp to the kayak dock is on, and it's still, they've straightened it up a little bit, but there's still a bit of a gap there, and someone's gonna slip. I stopped and looked at it, somebody is gonna slip and fall, and end up with lungs in it.
I did too. We originally had received a letter from the Canal Corp that said they weren't going to be involved with it anymore,
Right.
like a year ago, and then all of a sudden, they were down there,
They stored it for the winter.
they stored it for the winter, yeah, and then they brought it back and they put it back up. It's my understanding that the ramp that we had actually wasn't designed to go on that type of dock.
Correct.
It's too big for it. So, I made in fairness to them, I made one call down there and asked them to return the call, we haven't done it yet. So, I will get on that to be a little more proactive on it and see where we are on it. And my guess is you're probably gonna tell us that, we had a letter that said we're supposed to do it anyway, so, that's what we get for trying to help out.
Right.
We'll see what we can do with it, because you're right, it is, someone could get hurt at it.
Well, actually, a good strong piece of plywood there could be bolted to the dock, and there's a system that you could hook up to the shore that'll allow it to drift a little bit, so there's flexibility when boats go by. That's really all you need.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be that big heavy one that they have to
Okay,
put for.
Okay.
But I was also wondering, did we ever by chance get a copy of the contract we had signed with the canal on what we paid? Because I see last month we paid another $1,700.
No, that's
I'm wondering,
on the list asking for a copy of it as well. I looked and I can't find a copy of it, so that's part of the full conversation.
because I'm just curious what we keep paying them for.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing that, as long as you brought that up, that this is on my mind, is that the bike trail is now done. We did an inspection of it, the parts that was in the Fort Anne aspect of it, because we do have the maintenance of it as a town. It was in the original contract that was signed to perform maintenance on it for the next 10 years. And then after that, we don't know what happened, but that's what it was for the way the contract was set up for the next 10 years, once they turned it over. So I did walk it with them to take an inspection of it to see what did we actually have there, what was involved, was there any breakage or anything we needed to be aware of, and so they could fix it before we actually took possession of it, and everything was in order. So that's just something we'll have to be aware of as time goes on, and we do have responsibility for the maintenance of it. Anything else, Deb?
No, there we go.
Michael?
I have nothing.
Okay. Gretchen?
I want to thank the highway department for putting the lines down at the beach for parking. It makes it a lot easier for people. And they also made a big box for us to store the rescue board, so it's a real big help, so thank you. Tomorrow is the last day of swim lessons. We average about 25 kids per session, and a lot of small kids, so it was very successful, I think. As far as beach attendance goes, it's been down somewhat this year, but I think probably because of what it's doing right now, raining. So it just hasn't been a good beach year, but when people are there, it's very good, they're very happy, so that's about it.
Water?
I finally was able to give the town a check for over $1,000 for the period of July 1st to July 31st. And hunting licenses have not started yet. I think because of the warm weather, they're able to come in and get them, but I don't think I've had anybody come in and get them yet because of the warm weather like it was last year, so. You're welcome.
And George, I apologize, I looked right at you and said water.
Well, we both got along here. Interesting couple of weeks on Hadlock. First, on the harvester so far, we've taken out approximately 12,500 pounds of weeds, and that was as of the beginning of last week. I think you're doing a great job out there. We haven't had any complaints. If there are, just get a hold of us and we'll pull up to your dock and get weeds if you got it. I am working on price quotes for 2 buoys. The buoy by the dam needs to be replaced absolutely, and possibly one other one we're looking at. I hope to have the price quotes by next month. And got a lot of complaints this past 2 weeks on Hadlock. Some of them are the normal complaints about late night noise and boats running up and down, wahooing it and partying. Late night towing, tubing 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, that's not smart. Leave it at that. You lose somebody off a tube that late at night, we're gonna be lucky if we can find it. We have a big problem on Hadlock. We have what's called a wake boat out there. That's a boat you can literally surf behind without holding on. I don't know how they do it, but that's what you can do. The boaters themselves, the pilot's not doing anything different than anybody else. But the size of the wake that this boat causes is causing shoreline damage, dock damage, and it's been brought to our attention, we better look at the dam to see if it's damaging the dam in any way. This thing in the middle of the lake will cause rollers that will go over top of your boat covers if your boats are docked on the shore. I have personally seen it. I don't know what we can do about it. It's been suggested we involve DEC or the APA under the guise of the shoreline damage. It should be addressed though, because it's not 1 or 2 people, it's both sides of the lake. I've gotten a good half dozen phone calls and that many direct contacts. So it's something we will be looking into. As far as the permit bill, Tim's not here, I'm sorry. But as far as the permit, as long as we send in reports that they accept every year, we're good to go. There is no deadline. And we plan to pull out the harvester on around September 1st like last year. And that will give you enough time for your testing.
It is coming out again?
Yes and no. There's a discussion about pulling it out and having it sandblasted and painted. I have not really got a
I just,
consensus.
I don't, we have to wait on part of our stockpile, sand stockpile, the boats go back here, that's all.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's kind of nice.
Well, then we'll have to discuss it a little more. All right? I was not aware of that part of it.
Yep.
When do you start putting that in, Paul?
With
No?
the rain, we've been doing some now, but before we get too far out into the yard, we gotta have room for the tractor trailer and the crane.
Gotcha. Okay.
And there was discussion about leaving the harvester in all season, or all through the winter.
Yeah.
But it's also been suggested that we pull it out and have a sandblasted and painted before we do that.
Yep.
So we'll have to do a little more work on that. But as far as the harvesting, I think it'll be done by September 1st, so the association will do some tests they want on lake this year. And that's what I have.
Okay, thank you. Paul, I was superintendent.
We've been busy, we cut some shoulders on Tread Foley, Battens Mill, Buttermilk Falls, did some tree work, did a lot of ditch work up here on Clay Hill after a big rainstorm the other night. Cut a little brush here and there, keep the roads graded up. Other than that, it's quiet.
Paul, sorry,
No, go ahead.
Paul, did you guys grade Evans Lane today?
Yeah,
The sign, is the sign back up?
I don't know, but I'm done buying signs for somebody.
I was just gonna ask you, is it gone?
It's
Because
probably
it was laying there.
$160 every time you put one up, it doesn't last 3 weeks.
Unless I.
They don't know where Evans Lane is by now, they don't need to be there.
Well, it's a popular road. let me tell you.
Yeah,
So, alright. No, I just had seen it laying in the
Yeah.
side, and all I know.
I get a call 5 times a year, but that's okay.
We had some bad news on one of our trucks today, Paul.
Yep, rear end went in the 04 International Tandem. We got it all parked today. The parts will be here on Thursday, so it should be back together by next week. About $4,000.
And you said we're in line to get another truck.
Yep, I was gonna bring that up, but we can do it at what the time, it doesn't matter. New truck is a year and a half out. So if we're thinking about maybe a new truck next year, we should figure out what we're gonna do, maybe get it ordered this year before. Cause it'll take a year to get here.
Our enforcement officer is home recuperating for some, having a pacemaker put in. And we have no report from him, nothing from the historian and the dog control officer. So now we're down to old business, 4.1 and 4.2. We have nothing that we're going to discuss with that, but at 4.3, the West Florida Volunteer Fire Company. Whoever would like to.
Well,
Gunner?
all me, I guess. Thanks, guys. Floyd Ladd, First Assistant Chief, West Florida Fire Company. We approached the town about a new fire truck. I presented all the numbers to it. We did meet with Mr. Hall and Mr. I'm sorry, I have allergies that keeps my chest tight. Mr. Sexton. We discussed, and you met our salesman. I presented the numbers. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, we'll have more questions as the budget process comes up, as I told you. What's, off the top of your head, what was the price again?
$667,370.
Barb has the budget, our 21 budget, or 22 budget, sorry.
Okay, you got it already?
Yeah, I gave it to her tonight.
Okay, all right. So we should, by the time we set the budget process, we'll have that. Okay, very good. Anybody on the board have questions? Okay, yeah, we'll discuss it.
Did you find out whether you guys need to have the public hearing or not?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we have to have a public hearing.
Because we already had ours, so.
Yeah, no, I understand. We have to have ours too. And how long, Jeff, do we need to do that in advance?
It's usually 10 days notice, I think we should.
Be the first one.
I actually have a question on that. We bought several trucks, and through all the processes, fire companies always held the public hearing. Town never has.
If there was financing involved, we did.
Who's financing? Well, all you guys ever did was give us permission for our public hearing. I went back and reviewed the minutes from when we bought our trucks, and at no point in time, in any of the minutes from past meetings, was it ever stated that the town ever had the town board hearing for our trucks. The only company that was ever mentioned was Fort Ann Fire Company, West Fort Ann. When we bought 464, 465, and 463, there was never a public hearing put on by the town. We came in, we presented the truck to the town, the prices, what the payment was gonna be, proposed budget hit. We had our public hearing, we came back, town voted on it. There was never, ever a public hearing ever once listed on anything. And that's going by the archives of town's hearings.
I have records in my files of this town board holding public hearings for the purchases of fire trucks.
Ford and there is listed.
I don't know.
No, I can't, yeah, I can't speak for what was done in the past, but I can speak for what we're doing going forward. And if our council tells us we have to do a public hearing, then we do a public hearing.
Right, as I said, I'm just so used to what the process we've been through,
Yep.
and then all of a
No,
sudden
I understand.
change.
And like I told you the other night, that we want to make sure that all I's are dotted, all T's are crossed. So that's a hell of a lot of money. So that if somebody decides that they have a issue with it, they can't overturn whatever's decided because we didn't do what we're supposed to do. Okay? So we'll get that out, we'll get that taken care of, and all we need to do is do that prior to the start of our budget, so we'll know where we're at that point in time.
Where are you guys at with the audit process?
I couldn't hear you.
Where are you guys at with the audit process?
The audit is done, but they had messed up one thing on our insurance. They were like $10,000 off. So we're trying to find out with the auditor what happened there, but the final report was done and that's where I caught it.
That's it. We should be, any idea when that will be, Mitch?
I should be able to get a hold of her tomorrow. I'm hoping, well, by the end of the week, we should have some kind of,
Okay.
I have the figure amounts of what was spent on insurances, so.
Well, that'll agree with, I'm sure that'll agree with the audit, so we'll be fine.
I'll be honest with you, I tried reading the audit, and it looks like Latin, because prior to this audit, there had not been one since Dave Gould's wife was our chief. We were handwriting
Yeah.
on pieces of paper. So there's a big, huge chunk where there's nothing. Like I said, it looks completely Latin to me.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I go off of vendor's report. I don't go off of what the audit
Yes,
states.
I know, and that's one of the reasons we're doing this, because of the things that weren't done in the past that we should be doing, that need to be done. We're spending taxpayer dollars, we should know where it's going, what it's going for, and those types of things, so. We'll get that, and I'll move that part of it forward. Okay, anyone else have anything on the fire truck at all at this point in time? Okay, thank you. Resolutions. 54. Bart?
Resolution number 54 of 2021, I think it says 2011, I had a typo there. Sorry about that. Resolution authorizing $600 stipend to Eleanor O'Connor. Eleanor O'Connor is employed as a lifeguard by the town of Fort Ann, and whereas due to the absence of the head lifeguard, Ms. O'Connor has served as a head lifeguard and performed additional duties, and whereas the Fort Ann Town Board wishes to authorize a $600 stipend to Eleanor O'Connor as compensation for these additional services, and now therefore be it resolved that the Fort Ann Town Board hereby authorizes a $600 stipend to Eleanor O'Connor, and be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately.
Okay, can I have a motion to move this forward?
I'll make that motion.
Mike makes the motion, second by George. Discussion, Gretchen, some discussion on this?
I think she deserves it. I mean, she stepped up and she's really made sure that we had lifeguards when we needed them. So she's done a very good job.
Well, she also filled in for you when you were sick and couldn't.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she carried a lot of additional duties and more than what she would normally have. I don't know if there's any more discussion on that? Yep, good. Okay, so the motion. No further discussion, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay, and that moves us down to public discussion. Does anyone from the public have anything they'd like to discuss tonight? Yes, sir.
Could I ask George, when do you think you're going to stop the harvesting operation? September 1st, you're going to
As
harvest?
far as we
up
know
to-
right now, September 1st. And that'll give you enough time for the test
Oh,
you
yeah.
want.
Yeah, we just needed to know a target date to do
Okay.
it, but You are gonna harvest up to September 1st.
As far as we know, yes. Pending any problems that we hope we don't have.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, is there anything else? Any other discussion? John?
Have we had any changes made yet?
No.
No, okay. We have nothing about public hearing, right?
No.
Okay,
Still, and quite honestly, we're just looking to do our due diligence to do this right the first time,
okay.
so that we can, get it all hashed out and do what we need to do. I'll be sure to let you know when we do, I'll make sure you guys get a copy of it.
Thanks.
Okay. All right, is there anything else under public discussion? Anything else? Yes, Barb?
Barb Birch, Headlock Pond Grove, is one of the workers on the harvesting program. I would just like to make sure that Mr. Mostas and his rental people with the boats and the kayaks and the jet skis they have some kind of protocol for boat washing in and out, and that someone's keeping track of that. I did inquire in Lake George, they get them washed, they get some kind of a little card of some kind that says they've been washed, and, I want to make sure that that's happening on Hadlock, that we're not bringing in
Right.
something else that's not already there. We have enough that we don't need anything new, or is that being done at
Yes,
this
it is.
point?
The kayaks are basically just coming up. They're not anywhere from but Hadlock. So they don't leave Hadlock.
So they're just Hadlock?
Yeah, they just have,
And the
it's
boats
only our
and
properties.
the boats and the jet
Boats
skis?
come from Ticonderoga boat line.
And do you oversee the washing? Do they oversee the washing? How do you ensure
Ticonderoga
that?
oversees the washing.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And if, what I would ask for the town board, so we can try to preserve the shoreline up there and the structure for the dam. If in essence, anyone sees anything shoreline-wise with the big wave thing that's causing problems, please, let's speak up sooner than later.
Have you ever thought about putting a wake zone on the opposite side of the little island that hits the dam? A speed limit, where the pylons come through, the red and green on the other side of the island? With the stone, there's the stone island, when you look down, like Jeff ever can see it. Like, have you ever thought about putting a wake zone there that slows those boats that go into that would affect the dam?
No, this is the first time that the wave
No, I know,
has been an issue that's been
But
brought
maybe
up.
Lake George has those all over the place, you 5-mile-an-hour wake zones, so maybe that's something we just, when you buy your new floats or your new buoys, maybe you just get ones with 5-mile-an-hour zone on it.
We could do that, but it's specifically the design of the boat itself.
No, I know, but maybe,
You base it in certain areas, I don't know.
yeah, I know.
You gotta
I
see the
them all
boat
time.
to see what it does.
No, I see them all the time. Yeah, I see them.
Yeah.
I do.
And
That boat also has speakers that you can hear from the dam to the other end to the inlet. You can hear boom, boom, boom with your windows closed in your house.
No, that's right.
that I didn't know.
Oh,
No, yeah,
yeah.
it's got very clear speakers on it.
You can hear it probably to the moon.
Yeah, that goes very well.
Does anyone know, is that boat owned by someone on the lake, or is it
Yes,
somebody
it
that
is.
let them come in?
There's 2 of them on the lake.
George.
That boat is way out of my league. I'll admit it.
Okay, anything else? If not, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Mike Dixon, seconded by George, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you.